Whether you like the more recent episodes or not, there's no denying that the quality of The Simpsons has declined over the years, unless you enjoy plots cheaply written around celebrities. It's understandable if once huge fans now don't bother watching at all, but they may be unaware that there have been some hidden gems recently. When first making this list, I chose 12 episodes, but I then realised that to most people, 2007 probably isn't considered recent. I even had Trilogy of Error on the list, which is from before I was born. So I decided that the cutoff would be when The Simpsons moved to digital animation, which was 2009. Perhaps still a while ago for a lot of people, but for The Simpsons it's incredibly recent. And let's be real, I'm not sure there'd be a list if it were much later. At number 6, we have our most recent episode on this list, Flanders' Ladder. Though the episode starts quite slowly, the core of it is that Bart gets struck by lightning whilst on a ladder, forcing him into a coma. In order to get some petty revenge for something insignificant Bart did, Lisa decides to mess with him while he's in that state, putting scary thoughts into his head. Bart imagines a world where he can see dead people, and we're given a bit of nostalgia by seeing all of the characters who previously died on the show. Bart's tasked with fulfilling the last wishes of each of them, leaving Maud till last. Somewhat understandably, she still blames Homer for her death, so her wish is for Bart to kill him. Bart barrages Homer with t-shirts, only for Homer to turn into a ghost himself. Meanwhile, Lisa has realised just how dangerous her taunting's been. In parallel, Lisa asks Bart, and Bart asks Homer, to stay with me. As Homer moves into the light, Bart's monitor starts to flatline. However, Bart uses a t-shirt cannon to smash the light, hence saving Homer. He then proceeds to wake up. For the last part of the episode, Bart mentions that he saw how everyone dies. We then see how many of the Springfield residents die, which is rather moving. It's questionable whether this is canon. I'm personally doubtful, because at one point, it shows all of the women Ned's been married to, including Patty, and, well, if you've watched much of the show, you'll know why that seems unlikely. However, I still very much enjoyed this scene, as well as the whole episode, as it had a plot reminiscent of stronger writing from the past. At number 5, we have a totally fun thing Bart will never do again. Bart, sick of his miserable life, sees an ad for a cruise, and does all he can to raise the funds, selling everything he owns. When they get to the ship, they are upgraded multiple times to have an incredible room. There is something for everyone in the family, hundreds of activities for Bart, intellectual friends for Lisa, and some final alone time for Homer and Marge. I can't lie, I think the main reason I enjoyed this when it came out was that I was ridiculously jealous of Bart because everything seemed so fun. However, rewatching it, there's more to it than that. Bart has a mid-cruise crisis, realising that he and his family are only going to go back to being miserable when it ends. To combat this, he broadcasts an unseen DVD saying that there's a global pandemic and they need to stay at sea. Obviously, this backfires, as food is rationed and everyone becomes crazy. When it's discovered that it was Bart's prank, they strand the Simpsons in Antarctica. Naturally, the rest of the family are fuming over how selfish Bart was, but he explains that it was because he wanted them to be happy. Lisa then teaches Bart that it's not about making the fun last permanently, but about seizing opportunities and having great memories. We are left with the scene of Bart looking back fondly at photos when he's very old, concluding the episode in a heartfelt way. At number 4, we have Brick Like Me. If you're unaware, The Simpsons did a whole episode where everything was made of Lego, which instinctively I found quite cool when I was 11. I was a bit of a Lego fanatic, being sad enough to have a Lego Simpsons house myself. There are cute little references to Lego features throughout the episode, as well as more obvious things which drive the plot, like the fact that no one can die because they can simply be rebuilt. Somewhat surprisingly for an episode like this, there is actually a solid, engaging storyline. Lego Homer keeps envisioning himself as a meaty, fleshy being. Upon touching a Lego set from the android's dungeon, he has a vision of himself and real Lisa, enjoying spending time together with Lego. However, Lisa blows him off to see a film with some new friends, leading to Homer's desire that she never grows up, just like in a Lego world. Somewhat ironically given that she's been 8 for 30 years. Lego Homer then comes to the conclusion that it would be horrible to be stuck in time forever, so decides to go back to the real world. Personally, I always enjoyed when The Simpsons would go in another direction with their animation. and they really captured the Lego effect well. This combined with the plot made for a great episode. At number 3, we have Simpsorama. I know plenty of people are against crossovers, but given this one had a solid storyline and wasn't simply to cross-promote, Futurama having finished a few years earlier, it was rather entertaining. The kind of writing and humour you usually get on Futurama shone through, with the jokes being much more mature and cynical than is typical on The Simpsons. Seeing the characters again is also quite refreshing, as it's like getting a bonus Futurama episode. There are references throughout, and we even get a glimpse of Seymour the dog. Even if you haven't watched Futurama, I heavily recommend you watch Jurassic Park Season 5 Episode 2, as it's one of the most incredible episodes between both shows. As for the plot, Bart's class creates a time capsule. Later that day, a piece of junk falls out of the sky, which they then find out is Bender. Apparently, there's a creature terrorising the world, which has Homer's DNA, so Bender was sent to kill him. Having enjoyed his time with Homer though, he can't do it, so Fry, Leela and Farnsworth teleport to the present as well. They find out that it's Bart's DNA, along with Milhouse's rabbit's foot. They go to dig up the time capsule, where the DNA was, but get sucked back into the future. Instead, they round the creatures into Madison Cube Garden and launch them into space. The Simpsons go back to the present day, but Bender, being the portal himself, has only one way to return to the future: going to sleep and setting a timer for 1,000 years. Homer puts him in the basement and gives him some beer. Along with the huge head Mr. Burns gave them, we see Bender in the basement in later episodes as well. Perhaps I'm biased because I adore Futurama, but this episode really stood out for me when I watched it, and I also think it's engaging enough so that you don't actually need to know any of the references to like it. At number 2, we have Barthood. Admittedly, I haven't seen Boyhood, so perhaps I couldn't appreciate the episode to its full extent, but it was beautifully written in any case. I'm assuming it isn't canon, but it still fits into the Simpson timeline rather well, so it's not drastic. We see Bart at a very young age and how he barely got on with Homer, but got on very well with Abe. He takes Bart driving at what I'm guessing is around 4, and buys him a bike when he's 12. At 15, Bart says he needs to see Grandpa for his advice, but cycles past the retirement castle and into the graveyard, Abe having passed away. Following the previous parts of the episode, this was very emotional. Throughout Bart's life, we see his constant envy of Lisa and her success. When he's 15, Bart enters a BMX competition with the bike he got from Abe, but takes a tumble, only for Lisa to save the day by giving him CPR. This frustrates him as she once again made everything about her. They get in a big fight, but Lisa tells Bart that he's an incredible artist. So combining this with his memory of Abe, he sets up a bicycle business, with incredible murals on the wall. One of them is his highlights with Abe, the other of Lisa. He didn't mean for her to see it, but they share a sweet moment. With The Simpsons usually set in time, it doesn't leave much room for character progression. This episode, however, beautifully captures it. At number 1, we have Holidays of Future Past. I can sometimes be biased towards episodes set in the future, but IMDb would have to agree with me on this one. The show starts with Christmas photos from each year, leading up to the year the episode is set in. We see Lisa with girlfriends, Maggie becoming a rock star, and Homer and Marge enjoying their retirement. Another detail I enjoyed was the fact that the boat picture behind them changes over the years. As with every future episode, we see plenty of new techie things, including brain emails, teleportation, and being able to plug yourself into the internet and live a full virtual experience. Despite this, as always, the main core is about family relationships, especially between parents and children. Bart and Lisa both have frustration towards their kids, Bart not understanding why Homer's such a good grandparent but such a bad parent. Lisa and Bart share a drunken conversation in the treehouse where they bond over their similarities and come to terms with these things. Lisa then plugs herself into the internet to talk to her daughter's ear, to find out that she actually has a large admiration for her. Bart also reconciles with his kids, leading Homer to forgive his father. All 4 generations of the family then have one final photo at the end of the episode. I had to put this first because of the episodes I watched when they came out, this was the one I enjoyed the most. It's as entertaining and heartfelt as episodes from the first 10 years. I hope you enjoyed my list. How do you think The Simpsons will end? Or will it run for as long as time itself? Is it time to put our once beloved, now tired, show down? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe to let me know if this is the kind of content you want to see. And if you enjoy cartoons, definitely check out my other videos, as I make my own animations and would be so appreciative if you could help me kickstart what I love doing. In any case, thank you for watching.